Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. We're going to help you land your dream job as a 3D printing technician.
That's right.
We're talking about a world where you could be building anything,
Yeah,
from prosthetics to intricate miniatures,
right.
even pushing the boundaries of what's possible with 3D printing.
Absolutely.
It's a field that's absolutely exploding right now, and we're here to help you ace that interview using some amazing resources from RoleCatcher.
That's right. The demand for skilled 3D printing technicians is skyrocketing.
It is.
And RoleCatcher's platform is designed to give you a real edge in this competitive job market.
Okay, so let's get down to business.
All right.
We've got a stack of RoleCatcher guides ready to go.
Okay.
Including a career guide, skill guides, and the all-important interview guide. We'll be dissecting some of the most common interview questions, giving you insider tips on how to approach them, and even brainstorming some potential follow-up questions you might encounter. Plus, we'll sprinkle in some career advice along the way and reveal how RoleCatcher's AI can be your secret weapon in this whole process.
It's like having a personal coach and a crystal ball all rolled into one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump right into those interview questions.
Okay.
First up is a classic. Can you tell me about your experience with 3D printing?
Sure.
Seems straightforward, right?
Yeah.
But what are they really trying to gauge here?
They're looking for a clear picture of your familiarity with 3D printing technology. It's not just about listing the software you've used.
Right.
It's about demonstrating the depth of your knowledge and the hands-on experience you've gained, even if it's from personal projects or hobbies.
So even if you've just been tinkering around with a 3D printer in your basement, it's worth mentioning.
Absolutely. Don't downplay any experience you have. Instead, focus on the skills you've developed and the projects that showcase your passion and problem-solving abilities. For example, if you've designed and printed your own phone case,
Right.
talk about the design process, the challenges you faced, and the solutions you came up with.
So it's all about showing them you're not just a button pusher, you're a thinker and a creator.
Exactly. Now imagine you've experimented with both FDM and SLA printing technologies.
Okay.
You could say something like, I've been fascinated by 3D printing for years, starting with a basic FDM printer at home. I experimented with PLA and ABS filaments, creating prototypes for my own inventions, and even custom gifts for friends. Recently, I've been exploring the world of SLA printing, which has opened up a whole new level of detail and precision in my work. I'm always eager to learn new techniques and push the boundaries of what's possible with 3D printing.
That's a great answer. It shows you're not just familiar with different 3D printing methods. You're actively seeking out new challenges and expanding your skill set. What do you think listeners name? Would you highlight any other projects or experiences in your answer?
Remember, the key is to tailor your response to your unique journey with 3D printing. And be prepared for follow-up questions. They might ask you to elaborate on a specific project or delve deeper into your experience with a particular software or technique.
All right, let's move on to a question that might make some people sweat. How would you troubleshoot a 3D printer that is not printing correctly?
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a high-pressure situation.
This question is all about assessing your problem-solving skills and technical know-how. They want to see if you can think logically, identify potential issues, and come up with solutions when faced with a technical challenge.
So don't just say I'd call tech support.
Definitely not.
Okay.
While knowing when to seek help is important, you want to demonstrate that you have a solid understanding of the 3D printing process and the ability to troubleshoot common problems. Walk them through your step-by-step approach.
Gotcha.
Would you start by checking the filament, the print bed level, the nozzle temperature? Explain why you check each component and what signs you'd be looking for.
So it's like being a 3D printing detective using your knowledge and observation skills to track down the culprit.
Exactly. A great answer might sound something like this. First, I'd check the filament to ensure it's properly loaded and feeding into the extruder. Then I'd make sure the print bed is level and that the nozzle is clean and at the correct temperature. If those basic checks don't reveal the issue, I'd dive deeper, inspecting the printer settings, checking for any error messages, and consulting the manufacturer's troubleshooting guide. I'm also comfortable researching online forums and communities for solutions to more complex problems. Ultimately, my goal is to identify the root cause of the issue quickly and implement the most effective solution.
That's a really comprehensive answer.
Yeah.
It shows you're not just going to panic when things go wrong, which, let's face it, they inevitably will.
Right.
You've got a plan, you're resourceful, and you're not afraid to get your hands dirty. What do you think listeners name? Anything you'd add to that troubleshooting process?
Remember, tailor your response to the specific types of 3D printers you've worked with and the challenges you've encountered in the past. And be prepared for follow-up questions.
Okay.
They might ask you about a specific troubleshooting scenario or probe your knowledge of different printer components and their functions.
All right, let's dive into another technical question. Can you explain the difference between FDM and SLA 3D printing technologies? Time for a little 3D printing 101.
Don't let the jargon intimidate you.
All right.
They're simply testing your understanding of two popular 3D printing methods. Focus on explaining the key differences between FDM or fused deposition modeling and SLA or stereolithography in a clear and concise way.
So no need to go into a deep dive into the physics of each process.
Not unless they specifically ask for it. Keep it simple and highlight the practical implication.
Okay.
For example, you could say, FDM and SLA are two distinct 3D printing technologies, each with its own strengths and weaknesses.
Gotcha.
FDM works by extruding a plastic filament layer by layer, like a hot glue gun building up a shape.
Oh.
It's known for its versatility and affordability, but it may have limitations in terms of detail and surface finish. On the other hand, SLA uses a UV laser to cure a liquid resin, creating highly detailed and smooth prints. It's like a tiny high-tech sculptor working with light. However, SLA printers tend to be more expensive and have a smaller build volume.
That's a fantastic explanation. You've painted a clear picture of how each technology works and its unique capabilities. What do you think listeners name? Does that explanation help you understand the difference between FDM and SLA?
And remember, be prepared for follow-up questions. They might ask you about the pros and cons of each technology, the types of materials you can use, or the applications best suited for each method.
Okay, here's a question that might seem basic, but it's actually quite important. Have you ever worked with CAD software before? What are they really trying to get at here?
They want to confirm that you possess a fundamental skill for this role. CAD software, or computer-aided design software, is the backbone of 3D printing. It's what you use to create those digital models that the printer brings to life. They need to know you're comfortable using it.
So even if I've just dabbled in CAD, it's worth mentioning.
Absolutely. Be honest about your proficiency level, but highlight any experience you have.
Okay.
Mention specific programs like AutoCAD SolidWorks or Tinkercad. Talk about the types of projects you've worked on, even if they were just personal designs or practice exercises. If you're a beginner, emphasize your eagerness to learn and your willingness to invest time in mastering new CAD programs.
So it's not just about what you know, it's about your attitude and your commitment to learning.
Exactly. Now, let's say you've used Tinkercad for personal projects and have some basic knowledge of Fusion 360. You could say something like, I've been using CAD software for a couple of years now, starting with Tinkercad for personal projects like designing custom keychains and organizers for my workspace. Recently, I started exploring more advanced software like Fusion 360 to expand my design capabilities and tackle more complex projects. I'm eager to continue learning and mastering new CAD programs to become a more versatile and skilled 3D printing technician.
That's a great way to present yourself as a capable and enthusiastic learner. What do you think listeners name? What CAD software are you most comfortable with, and what types of projects have you worked on?
And keep in mind, they might ask you to describe a specific project you've designed in CAD or delve deeper into your knowledge of certain features or functionalities. They might even ask about your experience with different modeling techniques or rendering styles.
Okay, let's shift gears to a question that focuses on the nitty-gritty of 3D printing. How do you ensure the quality of a 3D print? Because nobody wants a wonky Yoda, right?
You're absolutely right. Quality control is paramount in 3D printing. This question is designed to assess your attention to detail, your understanding of potential printing pitfalls, and your ability to deliver consistently high-quality results.
So it's not just about hitting print and hoping for the best.
Definitely not. They're looking for a methodical approach to quality control, from pre-printing checks to post-printing inspections. You want to demonstrate that you understand the importance of precision consistency and catching those imperfections before they become a problem.
So what are some key things they're listening for in your answer?
They want to hear about your process. How do you prepare the printer and the materials? What steps do you take during the printing process to monitor progress and identify potential issues? How do you inspect the finished print to ensure it meets the required specifications?
It's like being a 3D printing inspector, scrutinizing every detail to ensure the final product is flawless.
Exactly. Now, here's an example of a strong answer. Ensuring high-quality 3D prints is a top priority for me. Before I even start printing, I meticulously check the print bed level, Clean the nozzle and make sure the filament is feeding smoothly. Throughout the printing process, I monitor the print closely, watching for any signs of layer adhesion problems, warping, or other issues. Once the print is complete, I carefully inspect it for dimensional accuracy, surface finish, and any other potential defects. I also rely on digital calipers and other tools to verify that the print meets the required specifications. I believe in maintaining high standards and delivering consistently excellent results.
That answer covers all the bases.
Yeah.
It shows you're meticulous, proactive, and committed to producing top-notch prints. What do you think of listener's name? Any quality control tips you've picked up along the way?
And remember, they might ask you to elaborate on a specific quality control measure or describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a printing issue to ensure the final product met the required standards.
All right, let's get down to the materials. Can you explain the difference between PLA and ABS filaments? It's time for a material science quiz.
Don't worry, they're not expecting a complex chemical breakdown.
Okay, good.
They want to see if you understand the characteristics of common 3D printing filaments and when to use each one. This demonstrates your ability to choose the right materials for the job, which is crucial for successful 3D printing.
So it's about more than just knowing one is shiny and the other one isn't.
Exactly. Focus on the key differences in terms of their properties, printability, and applications.
Okay.
For example, you could say, PLA and ABS are two of the most popular filaments used in 3D printing, each with its unique characteristics. PLA, or polylactic acid, is a plant-based, biodegradable plastic that's relatively easy to print with. It's a good choice for prototypes, decorative items, and projects where environmental impact is a concern, as it breaks down naturally over time. On the other hand, ABS, or acrylonitrile butadiene styrene, is a petroleum-based plastic that's known for its strength, durability, and heat resistance. It's often used for functional parts, enclosures, and items that need to withstand higher temperatures or stress, like mechanical components or outdoor products.
Okay.
Choosing the right filament for each project is crucial to achieving the desired outcome.
See, you've demonstrated your knowledge without getting bogged down in technical jargon. And hey, knowing which plastic to use is half the battle in 3D printing, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's all about selecting the best tool for the job.
It is.
And speaking of tools, let's move on to a question about keeping those 3D printers in tip-top shape.
Okay, bring on the maintenance question. What might they ask about keeping those printers running smoothly?
They could ask something like, how do you maintain a 3D printer? Or what are some essential maintenance tasks for a 3D printer?
Okay.
This is where they're assessing your proactive approach to problem prevention and your understanding of the printer's components and potential wear points.
So it's not just about wiping it down with a dust cloth every now and then?
Not quite.
Okay.
While keeping the printer clean is important, you want to showcase a more structured approach to maintenance,
Right.
highlighting your knowledge of key components and their specific needs.
Okay.
Talk about cleaning the nozzle, calibrating the print bed, checking the belts, lubricating moving parts, all those tasks that ensure the printer operates at its best.
So it's about understanding the anatomy of the printer and giving it the TLC it needs to keep churning out those awesome prints.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about listing tasks. It's about explaining why they're important. For instance, you could say something like, I believe in a proactive approach to 3D printer maintenance to ensure optimal performance and longevity. My routine includes regularly cleaning the nozzle and print bed to prevent clogs and adhesion issues which can affect print quality. I also make sure to calibrate the printer periodically, checking the bed level and adjusting the extruder settings for consistent results. Additionally, I inspect the belts and other moving parts, lubricating them as needed to reduce wear and tear and minimize the risk of breakdowns. By following these preventative measures, I can minimize downtime and ensure the printer is always operating at its best.
That's a really thorough answer that shows you're not just going to wait for the printer to break down before you take action. You're a step ahead, anticipating potential problems and addressing them before they impact your work. What do you think listeners name? Any maintenance tips you've picked up along the way?
Sharing your own experiences and best practices can really impress the interviewer and demonstrate your commitment to keeping those printers humming. And they might ask you to elaborate on a specific maintenance task, explain how to troubleshoot a particular problem, or even discuss the safety precautions you take when working with 3D printers.
Okay, here's a question that gives you a chance to shine. Can you describe a project you have completed using 3D printing technology? This is your time to brag a little, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is your opportunity to showcase your skills, creativity, and problem-solving abilities in action.
Okay.
Choose a project that highlights your technical proficiency, your design thinking, and your passion for 3D printing.
So don't just say, I printed a baby Groot. It was cute.
While Baby Groot is adorable, you want to go beyond simply printing existing designs. Talk about a project where you designed something unique, overcame challenges, and learned something new. Paint a vivid picture of the project, walk them through your process, and highlight the skills and knowledge you gained along the way.
So storytelling is key here. It's about captivating them with your 3D printing journey and showing them what you're capable of.
Exactly. Now let's say you designed and printed a custom phone stand that incorporates a wireless charging pad.
All right.
You could say something like this. One project I'm particularly proud of is designing and printing a custom phone stand with a built-in wireless charging pad. I started by sketching out my ideas and then creating a 3D model using Fusion 360. One of the biggest challenges was figuring out how to integrate the wireless charging components and ensure proper alignment for efficient charging. I had to research different wireless charging modules and experiment with various design iterations to find the optimal solution. The final product not only looks sleek and professional, but also functions perfectly, providing a convenient and stylish way to charge my phone. This project allowed me to push my design and technical skills further and gain valuable experience in integrating electronics with 3D printed components.
That's a really impressive project.
Yeah.
It shows you're not just a technician. You're an innovator who can solve problems and bring creative ideas to life. What do you think listeners name? What projects are you most proud of, and what challenges did you overcome along the way?
Remember, they might ask you to elaborate on certain aspects of your project, inquire about the software or techniques you used, or even delve into the design choices you made. Be prepared to go deeper and showcase your passion and expertise.
Okay, now for a question that's all about staying ahead of the curve in this rapidly evolving field. How do you stay up to date with new 3D printing technologies and advancements? Because let's face it, this field is changing faster than a chameleon in a rainbow factory.
You're absolutely right.
It is.
This question is about demonstrating your commitment to continuous learning and your passion for staying at the forefront of this dynamic industry. It's about showing them you're not content with simply knowing the basics, you're hungry for knowledge and eager to explore the cutting edge of 3D printing technology.
So don't just say, I scroll through Instagram.
While social media can be a source of inspiration, you want to demonstrate a more proactive and dedicated approach to professional development. Talk about attending industry events,
Okay.
reading journals and publications, taking online courses, participating in online forums and communities, all those activities that keep you in the loop and fuel your passion for 3D printing.
So it's about showing them you're a lifelong learner, constantly seeking out new knowledge and pushing the boundaries of what's possible with 3D printing.
Exactly. Now here's an example of a strong answer. I'm passionate about staying up to date with the latest advancements in 3D printing to continuously expand my knowledge and skill set. I regularly attend industry events and conferences like the mention a specific event to learn about emerging technologies and network with other professionals. I also subscribe to several industry publications, including mention specific journals or magazines, and follow thought leaders and innovators on platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter. Additionally, I participate in online communities and forums where I can engage in discussions, share knowledge, and learn from others' experiences. I'm committed to lifelong learning in this dynamic field.
That answer shows a genuine dedication to staying ahead of the curve and a real passion for the 3D printing community. What do you think of listeners' name? Any favorite resources you'd recommend for keeping up with the 3D printing world?
Sharing your go-to resources can make your answer more personal and memorable. And they might ask you to elaborate on a specific event or publication, discuss a recent technological advancement that you find particularly exciting, or even ask about your involvement in online communities. Be prepared to share your insights and enthusiasm.
Okay, here's a question that asks you to compare the old with the new. Can you explain the difference between 3D printing and traditional manufacturing methods? It's like comparing apples and oranges, or maybe apples and spaceships.
You've got it. This question requires you to contrast the innovative world of additive manufacturing, which is what 3D printing is,
Right.
with the more established techniques of subtractive manufacturing. Highlight the key differences in terms of the processes involved, the costs and timeframes, and the applications best suited for each method.
So don't just say one uses a computer and the other one doesn't.
That's a bit too simplistic. Explain that 3D printing builds objects layer by layer from a digital model, adding material where it's needed. It's like a high-tech sculptor building up a shape from the ground up. Traditional manufacturing methods, on the other hand, typically involve removing material from a larger workpiece to create the desired shape. It's more like a sculptor chipping away at a block of marble to reveal the hidden form within.
So 3D printing is all about adding, while traditional manufacturing is all about subtracting.
Exactly. And this fundamental difference leads to a whole range of advantages and disadvantages for each method. For example, 3D printing allows for greater design freedom, rapid prototyping, and the creation of complex geometries that might be difficult or impossible to achieve with traditional methods.
Right.
However, it can be more expensive for mass production and might have limitations in terms of material choices. Traditional manufacturing techniques like machining or molding are well established and often more cost-effective for mass production, but they can be limited in terms of design complexity and flexibility.
So it's about understanding the strengths and weaknesses of each approach and choosing the best method for the job at hand.
Exactly, and here's how you might articulate that in an interview. 3D printing and traditional manufacturing methods represent two fundamentally different approaches to creating objects. 3D printing or additive manufacturing builds objects layer by layer from a digital model, adding material where it's needed. This process allows for greater design freedom, rapid prototyping, and the creation of complex geometries that may be difficult or impossible to achieve with traditional methods. On the other hand, traditional manufacturing techniques like machining or molding typically involve removing material from a larger workpiece to create the desired shape. While these methods are well established and often more cost-effective for mass production, they can be limited in terms of design complexity and flexibility. Understanding the advantages and limitations of both approaches allows me to choose the most efficient and effective manufacturing method for each project.
That's a fantastic explanation. It shows you understand the big picture and can make informed decisions about which manufacturing method to use. What do you think listeners name? Do you see any unique advantages or disadvantages to either method based on your own experience?
Sharing your own insights and observations can really impress the interviewer and demonstrate your critical thinking skills. And they might ask you to elaborate on a specific application for each method, discuss emerging trends in both 3D printing and traditional manufacturing, or even explore the potential for hybrid approaches that combine the best of both worlds. Be prepared to delve deeper and showcase your understanding of the manufacturing landscape.
All right, we've tackled 10 tough interview questions,
We have.
giving you insights into how to approach them, potential follow-up questions to anticipate, and even some stellar sample answers to inspire you. But we're just getting started.
That's right.
We are.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll shift gears and explore the bigger picture of what it's really like to be a 3D printing technician. We'll delve into the work environment, the pros and cons of this career path, and even map out some potential career advancement opportunities. Plus, we'll reveal how RoleCatcher's AI can be your secret weapon in tailoring your resume and refining your interview answers to land that dream job.
think it.
So stay tuned.
I will.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of 3D printing technicians. I hope you're ready to go beyond the interview questions and explore what this exciting career really has to offer.
I am. We've prepped for those tough questions, but now I want to know what it's actually like to be a 3D printing technician. Where will I be working? Who will I be working with? What kind of projects will I be tackling? Give you the inside scoop.
All right, let's paint a picture of your potential work life. Based on the RoleCatcher Career Guide, you'll likely find yourself in a manufacturing facility, a design studio, or even a research lab. Picture yourself surrounded by cutting-edge 3D printers, working alongside engineers, designers, and other tech-savvy individuals.
Okay, so it's a collaborative environment where I'll be surrounded by cool tech and creative minds. But what about the atmosphere? Is it all sleek and futuristic, or are we talking more industrial chic? I need to know what to wear.
Well, it can vary quite a bit depending on the company and the industry. Some facilities are state-of-the-art with clean, quiet spaces designed for precision work. Others might be a bit more hands-on with the hum of machinery and the occasional whiff of filament in the air.
So it's not always glamorous, but hey, that's part of the appeal, right?
Yeah.
Being in the thick of it, seeing those creations come to life. But speaking of the work itself, our RoleCatcher guide mentions some potential health hazards. What's the deal with that? Should I be worried?
It's always wise to be aware of potential risks in any work environment. Some 3D printing processes can generate fumes or fine particles, so proper ventilation is essential. And wearing safety equipment like goggles and gloves is always a good idea, especially when handling certain materials or working with high temperatures.
Safety first. No job is worth risking your health. But on a more positive note, let's talk about the perks of this career path. What are some of the things that make being a 3D printing technician so awesome?
Well, as we've mentioned, the demand for skilled technicians is sky high,
It is.
which means job security is looking pretty good. Plus, you're working with cutting-edge technology, which means you're constantly learning and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like being on the front lines of innovation, constantly experimenting, problem solving, and bringing those futuristic ideas to life. And speaking of creativity, I bet the freedom to design and create is pretty amazing.
Absolutely. You get to collaborate with designers and engineers, bringing their visions to life in 3 dimensions. You might be working on prototypes for new products, creating custom parts for specialized equipment, or even developing innovative solutions for medical or aerospace applications. The possibilities are vast and constantly expanding.
Okay, so it's not all fumes and safety goggles. There's a lot to love about this job.
Yeah.
But let's be real, no job is perfect. What are some of the downsides we should be aware of?
One potential challenge is that the work can be quite repetitive at times,
Whoa.
especially in production-oriented roles where you're printing the same parts over and over again. And while there are opportunities to move into senior technician roles or specialized areas, the traditional management track might not be as clear-cut as in other fields.
So if you're a super ambitious, climb the corporate ladder type, this might not be the best fit.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe you'd rather be a 3D printing wizard than a manager anyway, right?
Exactly. It depends on your individual goals and priorities. Some people thrive on the hands-on aspects of 3D printing, constantly tinkering, experimenting, and perfecting their craft. Others might be more drawn to the design aspects, using their creativity and technical skills to develop innovative solutions.
So it's all about finding your niche within this dynamic field. But
Yeah.
let's say you ace that interview and land the job. Where can you go from there? What are the career advancement paths for a 3D printing technician?
Well, as you gain experience and expertise, you could move into a senior technician role where you take on more complex projects, mentor junior technicians, and potentially oversee quality control processes.
Okay, so you become the 3D printing guru, the go-to person for all things printing.
Exactly. And you could also specialize in a particular area of 3D printing, like medical modeling, where you'd be creating anatomical models for surgical planning, or prosthetic design, aerospace manufacturing, where you'd be working with advanced materials and techniques to create lightweight and durable components for aircraft and spacecraft, or even architectural design, where you'd be using 3D printing to create scale models and prototypes for buildings and structures.
So you could become the 3D printing brain surgeon or the 3D printing rocket scientist or even the 3D printing architect. The possibilities are endless.
That's the beauty of this field. It's so diverse and ever evolving. And of course, you could always pursue further education or certifications to enhance your skills and open up even more opportunities.
So even though there might not be a clear-cut management path, there are still tons of ways to grow and learn. You can become a specialist,
Yeah.
a mentor, a researcher, an entrepreneur. The sky's the limit.
Exactly. And remember, continuous learning is key in this field. As 3D printing technology continues to evolve, you'll need to stay ahead of the curve by learning new software, exploring new materials, and mastering new techniques. And that's where RoleCatcher can be a valuable resource.
Speaking of RoleCatcher, let's talk about their AI-powered tools and how they can help you navigate this exciting career path.
Yeah.
We touched on it earlier, but I want to dive deeper into how it can give you a real edge in the job market.
Well, imagine this. You've crafted your resume, highlighting your 3D printing skills and experience. You upload it to RoleCatcher, and their AI analyzes it, comparing it to the specific job descriptions you're targeting.
It's like having a digital recruiter scanning your resume and telling you exactly what needs tweaking to catch the hiring manager's eye.
Exactly. RoleCatcher's AI pinpoints any gaps in your skills or experience, suggesting areas where you could strengthen your resume to make it stand out from the competition. And the best part is it helps you tailor your resume to each specific job. So you're not just sending out a generic document. It's all about making a targeted impression.
Okay, so RoleCatcher's AI helps you get noticed. But what about the interview itself? How does it help you prepare for those nerve-wracking conversations?
Their AI feedback system is like having a personal interview coach in your pocket, available 24/7 to help you refine your answers and boost your confidence.
Wait, so it actually listens to you, practice your answers, and gives you feedback. That's incredible.
Exactly. You can practice answering common interview questions like the ones we've discussed in this deep dive, and RoleCatcher's AI will analyze your responses, providing personalized feedback on your clarity, conciseness, and the overall impact of your answers.
That's amazing. It's like having a virtual mock interview. but with personalized insights to help you polish your delivery and really nail those talking points.
Exactly. It helps you identify any areas where you might be rambling, using too much jargon, or not emphasizing your key strengths. And it suggests ways to improve your answers, making them more compelling, concise, and memorable.
So it's like having a secret weapon to help you ace that interview and land your dream job as a 3D printing technician. I'm starting to think this RoleCatcher AI is pretty magical.
It's all thanks to the power of AI and the team of experts at RoleCatcher who have designed this platform to help you succeed in your job search. And speaking of success, are you ready for the final part of our deep dive where we'll wrap things up with some empowering advice and leave you with some thought-provoking questions to ponder?
Welcome back to the final part of our 3D printing technician deep dive. I don't know about you listeners' name, but I'm feeling pretty energized. After exploring this amazing career path, we've covered so much ground, from dissecting those tricky interview questions to uncovering the power of RoleCatcher's AI.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? We've delved into the technical aspects, the work environment, the career advancement opportunities, and even touched on the potential health hazards.
We have, and you know what? I think you're more than ready to rock that interview. You've got the knowledge, you've got the tools, and you've got the passion for 3D printing. What else could you possibly need?
Confidence. Remember, you're not just walking into that interview room. You're walking in with preparation, insight, and the support of RoleCatcher behind you. You've got this.
Exactly. So go in there, be yourself, and let your enthusiasm shine through. And hey, if you've got any lingering questions, or just want to share your 3D printing triumphs, you know where to find us.
We're always here to support you on your career journey.
Now, before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. As you step into the world of 3D printing, think about this. What are some innovative ways this technology could be used in your field? The possibilities are truly endless, from creating custom tools and prototypes to revolutionizing manufacturing processes. 3D printing has the potential to transform industries in ways we can't even imagine yet.
That's a great point. The future of 3D printing is incredibly exciting. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to lead the next breakthrough.
And that's a wrap on our 3D printing technician deep dive. We hope you found it insightful, inspiring, and maybe even a little bit mind-blowing. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and remember, go out there and create something amazing.